Steve here with Rob Greenwood. Rob is our personal training director at Fitness for 10 in Sparks, Nevada. Thanks for being with us, Rob.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve.
You know, I'm always talking to people that are over 50, 60, 70, and beginners. And, there's so many things sometimes I think that are obstacles mentally to us starting an exercise program. And I think that one thing that not me, but I think a lot of people do is, I do it in other things. Like I can do it tomorrow, or I'll start tomorrow. I'll balance the checkbook tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. So let's talk about what's the minimum amount of exercise that you can do and still get some benefit. Now, I'll say right out of the gate here, something is better than nothing. And I'll get to that in a minute. But how would you lay that out if someone's just wants to get some benefit? Now, once they start getting some benefit, don't you think they're probably going to get hooked and they're going to want to do more?
Yep, sure will. It's a fun place
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So, how do you address that if somebody I just want to get some benefit, I want to get away with the minimum. How would you address that?
2 to 3 days a week, more on the 3 days than two, always more than less, in about 30 minutes. A lot of people beat me up like, Robert, how do you get away with doing a 30-minute workout? You tell them, when you're coming day in, day out, you get a lot done in 30 minutes. And if you did 30 minutes yesterday and got a 30-minute session coming up in the near future, things keep rolling for you. You see a lot of people get excited, and I always say, hey, it's okay to get excited, but you don't got to be in the gym 4 or 5 hours a day. You just got to hit something consistently and show up and do the thing.
Yeah, I tell people, get in the habit of showing up. Just go into the gym. I don't care if you go in the gym and walk from one end to the other and then leave. It's in your schedule. It's part of your habit that you do every day. Now, you're talking 2 to 3 days, 30 minutes. I want to ask you in a minute, what type of exercises or what would you do in those 30 minutes? But it's different if you're an experienced lifter, because I think like someone like me, I can get a lot out of 30 minutes 3 times a week. Why? Because this may sound odd, but it's because I've been doing this since I was 12. Now in my 60s, I know how to make 30 minutes really count for me because everyone's different. And like I said at the beginning, everyone being different, there's no exact answer to this question because something is better than nothing. If you're 70 years old and you have a step in your house and every time you go by there you do 5 step ups on each leg, that's going to make a difference. That will add up more than you think. And that seems like nothing, but if you're doing nothing, that becomes something, and then you get stronger and stronger. So you got to just start first. Now, what would you do? Let's say a beginner. We'll take a beginner and then we'll take someone, an advanced lifter like you, who's going to work out 30 minutes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So a beginner, what would you have them do? What would you recommend for a beginner who just wants to spend 30 minutes in the gym? And then you got travel time. It takes 10 minutes to get to the gym, 10 minutes to go home or whatever. But what would you recommend for that beginner?
Okay, I'm going to usually hit the selectorizer machines when I'm in a little bit of a rush. Pin loaded, you could change the weight from 10 to 100 very quick or whatever it may be from. I'd typically start off with, a push-pull movement for the upper body. Keep upper body only. What I mean by that is I'd start off with like a chest press, 3 sets of 10 there. Go into a lat pull down, 3 sets of 10 there. Maybe a tricep, a bicep, and maybe a little core exercise, a couple plank or a couple sets of 30 seconds for some planks, and then I'd probably get out of there. Pretty well, half an hour spent there. Um, the next day, I would do lower body, maybe a leg press for 3 sets of 10, everything 3 sets of 10, then a leg curl, then a leg extension, get in some calf raises, and then another core exercise. I'm out. The next third day, come in, I would touch up every body part, head to toe, maybe 2 sets of 12, and then call that a week there.
Okay, so you're talking about a beginner here, so I'm assuming, and for some beginners, again, everybody's different. Some beginners, 3 sets of 10 is going to be too much if it's your first week ever. However, you'll get to 3 sets of 10 very quickly, or 3 sets of whatever you're doing. You'll get to that very quickly once you start, within a matter of weeks. And also, your intensity level matters. If you're a beginner and you're going in 3 times a week, that's an hour and a half a week. Your intensity level is going to start lower, and then you're gradually going to increase your intensity level. What do we mean by intensity level? Increasing the weight, increasing the reps, maybe decreasing your rest in between sets. So, in other words, you're going to use those things to make your workout harder. So, how about you? What would you do if you were just, and I'm sure there's times, you're on vacation or whether you're going into a different gym. What would you do personally, an advanced lifter, if you're going to get 30 minutes 3 times a week?
I typically do, me personally, I would do a full body movement. I try to cover every body part in the least amount of movements as I can. Like a squat. I always like saying the squat. You're gonna hit quads, hamstrings, and glutes. I'll hit that 2-3 sets real hard. Maybe an incline press to try to touch up shoulders and chest, a little bit of triceps, and then maybe a lat pull down, and then touch up my biceps at the end.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And if you're just doing, and would you do that each day?
Um, Very, very similar. I'd go off the body feeling, and keep it in them types of movements. I might go bench press, incline, switch it up there, or maybe a shoulder press. I might go lat pull down or a seated row, something in the back. And then for legs, same thing, a leg press or squat. Keep it roughly the same, just targeting a little bit of different areas.
Yeah, that's a great strategy, and you advanced lifters know those are very selectorized exercises that you chose. You chose them very carefully to make sure you're hitting the whole body. But an advanced lifter, your intensity level is going to be a little higher, and you're going to want to do a little more. So, great input, Rob. We appreciate you, and if people want to find you on social media, how do they do that?
It's going to be trained by Rob on all platforms.
All right, thanks for being with us, Rob.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve.